Hello again from the old bloke and welcome back to In My Shed. Just a collection of cutters that have come in for me to sharpen today, and once again I see someone else has been on the job. That one cuts on the inside, that one cuts outside, that one cuts inside, that one cuts outside, fractured the tooth, inside, outside. I don't know why they do that, but that just doubles up the chip load for each tooth. Premature failure, but it's getting close to time to gullet that and regrind, so that one's out of the way. Here's two cutters that I've reground before, back in for a touch up. They're worn evenly and I'll probably just take about 10 or 15 thou off each tooth, bring them up to sharp and operational again. Here's one that's been used and abused. Man, is it mashed over on the end. I don't think that I reground that cutter, but it's just been well and truly overused, so it'll be cutting off the cutter again today. Take about 12 millimetres or half an inch off that regullet and regrind, but it's been absolutely overheated and even rounded off the outer corner, so I think that cutter would have a bit of forward taper and therefore it would jam in a hole and snap off. Be pretty well useless. And that is going to be another difficult one to grind. I'm pretty sure that I ground that last time and see very, very shallow facet angles, so I would say I had trouble getting in behind the heel of the land to get it ground in the back there. Sometimes reducing the facet angle makes it a little bit easier, but I'll be gulleting and grinding that cutter to get it back to useful again. Okay, there's a little bit of work. We've got plenty of other jobs on today and hopefully get a few more minutes of video for you. Bye for now. Here we are again, cutting off the cutter. The item I just showed you that had to be rebuilt. I know it's noisy, but I'm hoping this won't take too long and we'll be over. But you'll see the sparks fly here at least. That's called cutting off the cutter. And this time, I'm a bit more experienced. I won't touch the bloody thing for a few minutes. Otherwise I'll get burnt fingers. But I will take it down. See the bloody pig of a mess I've made of the poor old Clarkson. So it's time for a bit of a vacuum clean. Now also, this time I'm using the 1.6mm cut-off wheel that I used last time to cut off the shank. I thought that required a sturdier wheel. Getting quite a lot of grain shedding off this wheel, and it obviously did generate quite a bit more heat. So I think the next tool I'll cut off, I'll be going back to the 1mm cut-off wheel. Okay, that's all for now. Sorry for the big noisy bit in the middle, but my voice or a bit of music would not have given you any more entertainment. Back soon. Hello again. I'm just about to start sharpening the cutters. Before I do, I thought I'd do a small vid on tool and cutter grinder table stops. Now this is a little button stop on my Rongfu grinder that I always brag about. And you can see it, there is the stopper arm on the left and a little button stop with the Allen key sticking out of it. And that particular stop has been abused for nearly 20 years I think on cutters, and it still works. You can slide it in from either side of the slot in the table for either direction. So I'll go and get in the way now and show you how the stop moves up, the button stop up against the plate stop. Excuse my rear. I'm amazed at how good the zoom is on that old camcorder. Okay, I've just loosened up the screw. Push it across. And now the table won't go in that direction further than the stop allows. So now I'll bring you in at the top of the workpiece and show you how the cutter is aligned. I was asked for a vertical shot of this. It's not very easy, so I'll have the tripod up on two legs and come in from the top. But it'll give you a much better idea about organising the indexing finger, the work to the wheel, and why there's so much trouble getting in behind the cutter. So excuse my guts again. Okay, here's a very precarious camera shot. I'm about to fall arse over head. I wish I had a decent camera stand. I haven't got the noise of the motor running, so sorry, no sparks. This is the table movement across the face of the wheel. And this is the indexing finger movement. Just an old jigsaw blade for a finger. Works very well. There is the adjuster that originally came off my Weldon style air bearing head that we were using to grind these cutters. We found it really cumbersome. Changing the angle for the two different facets was a pain in the behind, and just took so long to do everything. But if you can appreciate, if I can zoom in just that bit more. Hell, I don't know how this thing focuses so damn good. But you can see the inside of the tooth traversing the outer part of the wheel there. That's where you're grinding the clearance on the inside facet. And it's good because you can see the trailing tooth coming in, and that's a pain. You have to make sure you don't hit that tooth. And if you're a little bit further up, if you go in too far, you also hit the tooth that's leading. And quite often, if you're in a real difficult cutter, you'll just nick that tooth of the one that's leading and split it a little bit. I've had to send some cutters out like that. Their geometry I found just impossible to grind without. And this is one reason I love camcorders. Okay, that's a look for you. We've seen a simple table stop. We'll move to another grinder and I'll show you another table stop. Okay, we're over to the Servian grinder, and this is a little homemade stop that an employee first made to make it easier to grind the Rotobrooch cutters. There's a T-slot running in the front of the table, just a bit of stainless steel angle that was cut off, a bit of what was cut off welded on there, which is quite simple, and a stop that's bolted to a T-slot in the table. Very easy to adjust. Finer mounts, we never got around to putting a thimble on it, it just didn't need it. You can visually line up where you're grinding, adjust the depth you want to go into, lock up the lock nut. Everything is just so easy to build, and they work. This is accurate, saves a lot of time, so I hope that one helps. Come back with a few more. Okay, back again. Tool and cutter grinder table stops. This is a pair of stops off an old Cincinnati tool and cutter grinder, and you'll notice that as you get into bigger and bigger grinders, the stops get bigger and bigger. Makes them a little bit easier to operate, but you're also reciprocating a hell of a lot of weight there. And if you don't have a substantial stop, it just won't bloody stop. So they have to be built to do the work. This is the bolt, or the hole where the T-bolt mounts it into the T-slot on the side of the table. This is the stop that is spring-loaded, and this is the adjustable portion of it. These two big knobs here just run a friction bolt that locks the stop to the side of the table. So very, very robust, very easy to make and copy, and they only last so far 60 years and another 100 years to go. Also on a previous video I showed using a milling vice stop on the Clarkson as a bit of a makeshift. The Clarkson come out with no table stop, so it might pay to hunt that up. Just 2 or 3 videos ago shows a very bright anodized stop on the Clarkson table, and that was pretty inventive of me, I thought. Okay, on to the next grinder. Back again. This is on my largest tool and cutter grinder, the Big Toz. I hope you get this thing working one day. It's got enough real estate on the table to leave 3 jigs up there at the one time, and it's also got a swivel table with micrometer fine adjust. Well, there's the central stop with the micrometer thimble. Very well thought out, absolutely robust to the max. This table would have to be 150 kilograms, I think. I definitely would not be lifting it off myself. And there's the adjustable stop on the table. Great big handle, lock it up where you want it, adjustable screw for the spring plunger. Very good piece of equipment. This is the sort of thing you can copy at home, make your own, and it just makes life on tool and cutter work a hell of a lot easier. There's a lot of good videos up now. The bedroom workshop is one, where you just get pictures of a lot of work from different makers. This machine was originally the one fitted with my axial and radial relief grinding attachment, but all the electrics on this machine, I had it and I haven't had a chance to rewire it. I'll just give you a quick bo peep at some of the other things that are on it. There's a nice high-speed head that bolts onto the wheel head casting and is driven by a flat belt on the right-hand side, meant originally for spindle work or to get the wheel further over the table. And that's fairly important for a lot of work, especially when you're doing work with the table angled. I think that spindle can run up to about 12,000 RPM. And if we go down, a pallet load of little goodies, all awaiting a paint job. Very small high-speed internal spindle there. A large Morse taper magnetic chuck. Cylindrical grinding attachment. This machine came with a lot. Okay, that's it for now.